All right, I'm going to show you how you can scrape leads using Google Maps, also known as Google My Business, very easily. I'm going to show you two methods. One of this method is automated and it is very easy to scale it. It requires N8N and Thordata. This is the method that I use personally. This is the automation that is built inside N8N and it requires Thordata for running a scraping engine within it. This method requires a little amount of investment for the tools we will be using, but I'm gonna give you the entire workflow that I use. Then there is a second method, which is absolutely free to use, but difficult to scale. It's up to you which method makes sense based on your own scale, but let me start with the first one. This here is the entire workflow. On the left is the lead form. So before getting into what each of these nodes are doing and how do we create it, I will first show you how this works. So for that, all I will do is I will click on execute workflow here. This would redirect me to a form where I can mention the kind of industry that I'm trying to target. So the reason I designed it this way is because I'm constantly looking for customers that are similar to my current customers. Looking for people who are doing the same thing in a similar industry is always the best strategy because they mostly have the same problem as the client that you currently serve. So for this, I will first put in the industry here. So I will put in property brokers, and for location, I will put it New York. So basically, you can use it for finding new leads. In this case, I am looking for an industry that I've already served, but I'm looking for this in a new geography. And I will also put in maximum number of leads. I usually scrape anywhere between 200 to 300 for any industry. But for the sake of this video, I'm keeping it to 15 so that it finishes quickly. Then you can also define the minimum number of reviews that you're looking for. This is really helpful because this helps you put a bar on the size of the businesses you are trying to go after. Usually, more number of reviews signal that it's a bigger business. Not always like that. You have to always look up based on the industry. And then I have to define the search scope. This is basically how much similar you want the actual searches to be from the industry and the location you have mentioned. If I keep it high, it will only look for property brokers in a very narrow set of geography. If I keep it broad, then it will experiment with new locations that it thinks are similar to the location that you mentioned here. So for now, I'm keeping it high and then I'll just submit this form. Once I submit this, so now this workflow is running. First, it generates search queries that we need. Along with this, it is also going through a sheet where it has to add all the leads. So this is the existing sheet that I have. This is only for demo purposes. This is not the complete sheet that I use. So over here, you will see that there are already 105 businesses. So what I want to do is in the output that I get, I don't want to have same businesses. I want it to first go through the entire list, do the duplication like before adding new results here so that each of these row remains unique. And here you can also see the kind of outputs that I get from this entire automation, the name of the business, what is the Google rating, what is the number of Google reviews on their business. It helps when you're trying to write cold emails or write cold messages to these people. You can reference these number of reviews, number of rating, then their phone number if you're cold calling them. And then it also mentions the query that it used for making the search and then the date when you scrape this ad. So let's go back to our workflow. I see that it's still running the search query. And as you can see on the sheet here, like there are a bunch of different queries that I have used while searching for businesses. SAT prep tutoring near me, New Jersey. Similarly, there is college prep tutoring, Newark, NJ. And then we are also looking for leads in Long Island, in Manhattan. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought of searching all these geographies, but since this AI knows that what is the kind of geographies I'm trying to target, it made all these searches. And the thing with Google Maps is if I just search for SAT preparation classes, it would give me a list of 40 businesses only. I have to go in and put in these different geographies, different keywords for it to give me the entire list of all businesses that are listed there. So putting in a lot of different search keywords is really helpful when you are using Google Maps. And this workflow has finished running. If I look at the results it has generated, I will just open up this drop down here, which basically shows that what is the output of each of these nodes. And I see that it has scraped 9 new businesses. We asked it to scrape 50, but after filtering only the businesses that has more than 50 reviews on Google Maps and also removing any duplicates, it got 9 unique results. And it automatically added it on this Google Sheet itself. If I scroll down to the bottom, yep, I find these new businesses that it just added on the list, and you get the websites of all of these businesses, their phone number, and the rest of the details. From here, I will go and look up that who are the relevant people that I need to contact. But the entire lead generation process started from here. Now, how you can replicate this process for yourself. So for this, the first step is go check out the link in the description. Over there, you will find a Gumroad link. And by the way, you don't have to pay any money for viewing this page. On this, there would be 2 files that you need to download. The first file is the N8N workflow that I just showed you. And the second file is the scraping script. That's the script that is working on the background. Now, a lot of people make a common mistake at this point. They try to build out the entire scraper within N8N. N8N is very good for lightweight workflows, but it's not ideal when you wanted to scrape something. That is why we are using Thordata for it. And that's why we have a separate script here. I would be telling you why I'm using Thordata here rather than anyone else in a minute. But before that, I will tell you how you can download this N8N workflow. You just need to click on download. And once you do that, then you will get a JSON file. Once you have that JSON file, then you just need to go on n8n.io. I will just click on sign in here. You can also start a new account. They give you a 14-day free trial and 1,000 executions. Now I will just click on create workflow, and within this, I will go to this option on the top right, import from file. Once I get here, then I just need to upload the file that I just downloaded. Once I do that, it would show me the entire agent. There are a couple of things that you need to do here. First, you need to connect your Google Gemini API with this. And second is you need to also connect your Google account. So for this, what you have to do is first you need to go on this Google Gemini chat model node. Just click on this. And since I've already connected my account, I already see this here. But what you would have to do is you have to click on create new credentials since you would be using it for the first time. And once you do that, then you would see field to add your API key. Now for getting your API key, you need to go to aistudio.google.com. And once you come on this platform, just click on get API and then click on create API key here on the top right. Then give your API key a name. Then select a cloud project to which this API key would be attached. You can either create a new project or use any existing project and just click on create key. Once you have created this key, you can just copy it from here or just click on copy API key and then go back to N8N. Just put in the value of your API key in the API key section over here and then just click on save. And that's it. You will see a green sign here which says your connection is tested successfully, which means your API key is working. And that's all, your node is set up. You can also play around with the models here, but I get good enough results with Gemini 2.5 Pro itself. Now, the next thing you have to do within this is you have to go to read existing leads document. So for this, you would have to first connect your Google account. It's pretty much the same. You just have to click on create new credentials here. Then you have to click on this button, sign in with Google, and you would be redirected to the entire sign in flow. Pretty simple to understand. Now the next thing you would have to do is you need to duplicate this sheet. Just copy the link of the sheet, and once you open this up, then you would be able to duplicate this in your own workspace. The reason why you need this is because our entire workflow expects you to have these headers. You can also alternatively just copy these headers and put them in a new sheet or existing sheet. Once you duplicate the sheet in your own workspace, make sure that you're using this sheet in the next step. Once you have done it, then just come back to the third column here, which is document. So for this, select the option from list, and then you will see all the Google documents that you have within your drive. And this is the document that I have created for capturing all the Google Maps leads. So just select this document or whichever document you are working with, and also select the sheet within it on which you want it to update all the new leads. Similarly, do the same thing on add to Google Docs. Select the same Google sheet from the list that you want to add the leads in, and we are done. The only last thing would be that we would also have to change the URL for the API here. That we would be doing once we have set up our scraping script on fly.io. For now, just save your progress here and save this N8N extension. And then let's move on to the second part of setting this up. For that, I have to go back on the same Gumroad document. Now I will be downloading the second file, which is the scraping node. So I will just click this, and this would give me the entire package. And I will unzip this. Once I unzip this, then you will see that this folder has 5 files within it. We are through the first 3 pointers. Now we are deploying the script on fly.io. Now, all of those details you will also get from this folder. The first thing is you need to create a fly.io account. If you are using it for the first time, you get a free trial as well. So once you do that, then you would be redirected on the screen. You won't see any apps deployed on your end because we are yet to do it. Once you have signed up on fly.io, then you need to open up your terminal. So the fastest way of doing that is hold command and spacebar together. That would give you the spotlight. And over here, you need to just search for terminal. You will see it on the top. If you are using Windows, then the command might be slightly different, but you should be able to get it. So once you do that, then you will see this black interface where you have to type in command. Brew is basically a app store for Mac. So if you have never used this before, first you would have to come to this website brew.sh and copy this command. This is the first command that we would have to drop inside our terminal. Once you are here, then just drop the entire command that we just copied and press enter. And once you have installed this, then we would be installing fly.io using brew. The first command that we have to type in here is we have to first install a brew on our device. So I will just drop the command here. Seems that I had the older version, so now it has updated my version to the latest one. And now the first step is complete. Now the second step is we need to log in into Fly using this terminal. So for that, you just need to drop in this command, fly auth login. Once you do that, then it will redirect you to the login screen. Just click on continue, and then you would be logged in on the device. And once you have logged into fly.io using your terminal, you have to next open up the unzip folder here. Just go within your finder and figure out which is the unzip version of the file that you just downloaded. Then go on that file, select it. And if you're on Mac, just click Option Command C. This will copy the file address which we would be using for locating this in terminal. So once you have copied this, then just go back on your terminal, type in CD, and then paste the entire path of the file and click on enter. Then you would be within that folder. Now all you have to do is you have to deploy this script, which is the third step here. I will copy this command. I will paste this back here. The name here is basically the name I want to give this on fly.io. It does not matter, you can give it any name. Then once you do that, then it will ask you a couple of questions. If you want to use the configuration file within the folder, press Y to that, and then it asks you that do you want to tweak some of the settings before proceeding. I will just type in Y, then it will open up a new tab where you will see all the details, like what is the name of the app that you want to give, the organization, the region where it would be hosted, and rest of the details looks fine to me. So I will just click on confirm section. And once I do this, then I would be redirected back to this terminal where it would be deploying all the code. So now we are done with the fourth part of the process. Just to verify if this is done properly, let's just go on fly.io to the dashboard. And yes, over here I see the new scraper, my map scraper. still getting deployed, so it's in the process. So meanwhile, we wait for this to be completed. Let's move on to the next step in the list, which is getting Thordata credentials and adding them here. For that, you have to visit thordata.com. And the reason why we are using Thordata here is because if you look across the internet and if you search for Google Maps scraper, you will find a lot of these Chrome extensions, which is basically a manual way of getting all these properties. There is no actual way of scraping these businesses from the internet. There is one solution, Appify. I've used it, but you need to spend $39 per month to get started. Thordata, you can start from $5 per month and then scale it from there. And apart from that, you will see that all these other results are basically extensions which ask you to go and manually make the search, and then they help you download all of these, which is not actually automated. You have to do all the work, and all of them are still paid. That's why when I was searching for all these tools, one, I wanted it to be powerful enough to actually scrape through Google Maps because it's very difficult to do it. And the second thing is I wanted it to be easier to try out. I did not want it to spend a fixed fee every month. So Thought Data gives you usage-based credits that you can use basis on the number of businesses you're scraping. This is actually very useful if you're just starting out. So that's about Thordata. Now coming on to this platform, just click on login on the top right. Once you sign up, then they give you 500 MB in proxies. But for this video, you would be using scraping browser. So come here on the left. You can get 5 GBs on their scraping browser. That would only cost you $5. Once you've done that, then go back to Playground. There are two different kind of credentials here. One is for Puppeteer and Playwright, and second one is for Selenium. Since we are using Puppeteer in this webflow, we will just copy that one. And once you have it, then first you would have to break it down into the username and the password. For doing that, I will just simply paste it here. This first part here, everything from TD customer to the first hub, this is basically our username, and the second part is the password. So this is the command that we now have to run in our terminal, fly secret sec, and there we would be mentioning our username and the password. I will copy this entire thing. I will replace the first half, which is the username, with this section here. So everything from PD to 3. So I will capture that and I will paste it here. Similarly for the password, I will just capture this entire thing from here and I will replace the password here with that. So this is the entire secret file now. So I will copy this command and paste this in the terminal and press enter. This will directly deploy these secrets on fly.io. And it says that it has successfully added the secret. Now let me just go back on fly.io and see if the scraper is running successfully. So I will just go back on my fly.io dashboard and I see that this is the new scraper that we just installed, my map scraper. And if I go on secrets here, I see that there are 2 new secrets added here, Thordata password and Thordata username. Apart from that, if I go on overview, I see that it's running fine. So all I have to do now is I just copy this host name from here. And then I will go back on the N8N workflow that we set up initially. Now, once you are on N8N, open this scraper node called scraper API node. And over here, just paste the URL that we just copied from fly.io. One thing to make sure is now after this URL, you add slash and write scrape because that is how we have designed our endpoint to work. Now, once you have done that, then just save the changes and then your automation is ready to go. Just click on execute workflow and this will redirect you to the form that we initially opened up. And here you can just mention whatever you're searching for. I will keep the same search query as before. I'll just change the location to New Jersey this time. I will keep maximum beats to 10 so that it runs quickly. Minimum reviews to 20, scope high, and I'll just click on submit. If I go back on the workflow, now I will see that it's running. I think it should take a couple of minutes using the scraper endpoint that we just created. And if I check it, the execution is completed. I see that it added a few new leads, and on the Google Sheet on which I've asked it to add all of these, I should be able to find all the new leads that were created. So yeah, you can use this workflow for even extracting thousands of leads. If I scroll to the bottom of this list, I see these new entries added here. So these are property brokers in New Jersey. So I see Taylor Lucky Group and all the other brokers in the area as well. So that is how this process works. Now, as promised, coming on to the second method of how you can scrape Google Maps leads. So this process is free to use and it's way simpler to set up, but the only drawback is it's not automated. Go on this page, Gmap extractor, just click on add to Chrome and click on download. Just unzip this file, click on it, and it should unzip automatically. And once that is done, then go back. I'm using Chrome here, but every browser sort of have a similar functionality for this. So for Chrome, first you have to open the settings panel, and within settings, you need to go on extension and go on manage extensions. Now, click on load unpacked here. Please make sure that the developer mode is turned on. It's available there. So click on load unpacked, and then you would have to select the folder within which all the files are. And this new extension, Gmaps extractor, is now loaded. All you have to do is first open this extension, sign in with Google. Now, once you're logged in on the app, then you can just click on open Google Maps. This will redirect you to the Google Maps page. Now that we have the extension installed, I will see this card on the right where I can just click on start extracting, and it will start by default only extract the top 10 results from every page. So you would have to make a lot of searches. The way to go around is that you pick sub areas within New Jersey. Definitely a lot more cumbersome than the first method, but it's free to use. And the entire process. Do let me know if you like videos like these one where I just share the automations that I use in my own business. And that's all for this video. I will see you in the next one.